But the point I'm wanting to make here is just this. The end results of preaching the gospel, the response we must get is, what must I do? And you know, there's a way to present yourself. There's a way to get that response. There is a way to make people think for themselves. You know, so often we just become a caretaker for another person. A person's got a problem, and then we do for them what they should be doing for themselves. You know, that's not preaching the gospel. That's not even a Christian attribute there, to do for somebody else what they should be doing for themselves. But if I can bring a person to come to a point where they say, you know, a person comes to me and says, I got these problems. And I say, oh, okay, I see you got these problems. But let me help you to understand what you must do to correct the problem. You've got to do something, and no one is going to do that for you. No one, well, I say no one, yeah, there's all kinds of caretakers out there who busy themselves to death doing for others instead of allowing them to do for themselves. Yeah, I know, the caretaker role, that's a difficult role that people get into. But the gospel is it's bringing people to that magical point of asking those, you know, 3 words to themselves. What must I do? And again, if the end results is not achieved, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how many soup kitchens you have. I don't care how many community service you have. I don't care how involved your church is in doing good works. You do know the good works is not going to save your rear end. No. No matter how much you got going on, if you don't bring people to that magical question of what must I do, it's not preaching the gospel. I'm David Freeman with Is That Really in the Bible?
Well, I think people have to be challenged before they can be brought to a point of connectivity with God. Confrontation is something most people do not like, and to be confronted with God's will is something that most people shy away from. When you consider some of the examples we see in the Bible, Abraham, go sacrifice your son, your only son. Moses, free my people, the Israelites. And Moses' response, of course, was, not me, send somebody else. And then you have the example of Jesus. I want you to give your life as a sacrifice for mankind. And Jesus' response was, Father, if there's any other way to work this out. All of these examples have one thing in common. They had to be confronted with God's will. Confrontation. If you ever enter into a personal relationship with God, it will be through confrontation. I mean, you're going to have to be faced with something from the Word of God that you don't want to do.
So what must I do if I want a relationship with God? Find the answers by ordering your free Bible study entitled, What Must I Do? Order by writing to Church of God Rocky Mount, 27 Brookledge Lane, Rocky Mount, Virginia, 24151. That's Church of God Rocky Mount, 27 Brookledge Lane, Rocky Mount, Virginia, 24151. Also, you can visit us online at isthatreallyinthebible.net. That's isthatreallyinthebible.net.